They've spent years crafting the perfect royal love story: babies, breakaways, and a billion-dollar brand. But what if the most heartwarming part of that tale was never real? According to two of Britain's most fearless royal insiders, everything you thought you knew about Harry and Meghan's children, how they were born, where they were born, and even if they were born as claimed, could be a carefully orchestrated illusion. This isn't wild gossip. It's backed by altered documents, missing hospital records, and royal insiders who finally decided to talk. And once you hear what they've uncovered, you'll never look at the Sussex fairy tale the same way again. From the moment Harry and Meghan announced Archie's birth, something felt off. Unlike every other royal baby, there was no hospital photo op, no official timeline, and no trusted royal doctors present. Instead, a vague press release showed up hours after the baby was supposedly born. Now, Lady Colin Campbell and Tom Bower, two veteran royal biographers with decades of insider access, are calling the entire narrative into question. And they're not relying on speculation. They claim to have hospital logs, altered birth certificates, and direct testimony from palace staff who were there and who say Meghan wasn't. Together, they're tearing apart the Sussex storybook page by page, starting with the one thing the couple tried hardest to protect: the origins of their children. Royal births are supposed to be public, precise, and impossible to fake. There's a system: hand-picked royal physicians, press on standby, and a proud appearance on the hospital steps within hours. But when Archie arrived, all of that vanished. No royal doctors, no photo call, no staff at Portland Hospital could confirm Meghan was ever there. Even more bizarre? The palace announced she was in labor 7 hours after Archie had supposedly already been born. Then came the paperwork twist. 11 days later, Meghan's full name was suddenly stripped from the birth certificate. Why would a couple obsessed with controlling their image delete such a key detail, unless it didn't fit the story they wanted to tell? When Lilibet Diana was born, things were supposed to be different. A fresh start, a clean public story. But the details don't add up, literally. Her California birth certificate lists code 105 for the state, a number typically used for Colorado, not California. It's a small detail, unless you know how official documents work. Royal watchers quickly pointed out that California certificates always use code 104. So why the error? Was it a simple clerical mistake, or a sign that paperwork wasn't even filed where the birth happened? Once again, no clarification from the Sussexes. In Buckingham Palace? Radio silence. But in a story this fragile, even one wrong number cracks the illusion. This isn't just about rumors. It's about royal succession. If Meghan didn't give birth to Archie and Lilibet herself, and surrogacy was used without disclosure, their place in the royal line could be in jeopardy. In the UK, any child born through surrogacy must be formally declared to remain constitutionally eligible. By keeping the details hidden, the Sussexes aren't just protecting their privacy. They could be disrupting centuries of royal tradition. Lady C warns that this kind of secrecy isn't harmless. It plants doubts not just about two children, but about the monarchy itself. And when the throne is at stake, silence becomes its own kind of scandal. The moment Lady C and Tom Bower aired their claims, the Sussex legal machine roared to life. Threats of defamation lawsuits flew in, fast and furious. But here's the thing, neither author backed down. Why did she? Because they insist their findings are backed by hard evidence, hospital interviews, insider logs, and verified contradictions. And while Meghan and Harry could clear the air with one simple move, release the records, they don't. Instead, every legal threat only fuels more suspicion. If the story's false, why not just laugh it off? Why go to war over a claim you say has no merit? In the court of public opinion, silence isn't safety, it's strategy. This is where things get downright surreal. Tom Bower didn't just speculate, he investigated. He claims to have spoken directly with staff at both Portland Hospital and Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital, and what they told him was staggering. No one remembers Meghan ever being there. Not doctors, not nurses, not even front desk security. One obstetrician allegedly listed on Archie's birth records. He says he and his wife were out of the country at the time. Bower calls the entire hospital account a fabrication, saying if Meghan gave birth there, she did it invisibly, and medically that's impossible. For a royal birth, vanishing staff and erased logs don't just raise questions, they scream cover-up. Years after both births, Meghan suddenly claims she suffered from severe preeclampsia, a condition so dangerous it requires immediate intensive care. But there's a problem. Not a single mention of it appears in Harry's memoir, their interviews, or any official medical record. Lady C calls the timing suspicious and the details absurd. Meghan says she was discharged just 2 hours after birth, despite receiving 2 epidurals. She also claims she was so hungry during labor that they stopped for tacos. Tacos. During a medical emergency? According to gynecologists, none of it makes sense. It's not just medically impossible. It feels like a carefully scripted performance, designed to draw sympathy, not scrutiny. So why go to such lengths to hide the truth? According to Lady C and Tom Bower, it all comes down to one thing: brand survival. The Sussex image, loving parents, a modern royal family, victims of the crown. That's what sold their Netflix deal, their documentaries, their books. If that image crumbles, so does their market value. And with their content underperforming and contracts slipping away, they can't afford another hit. The story of Archie and Lilibet isn't just about two children, it's the emotional core of their entire brand. If the birth stories fall apart, everything else goes with it. And that might explain the silence, the legal threats, and the desperate scramble to keep the truth buried. This isn't just a messy PR scandal, it's a potential constitutional crisis. If the truth about Archie and Lilibet's births ever comes to light, it could shake the very foundation of royal legitimacy. It's no longer about gossip or haters or privacy. It's about credibility, about whether two children in the royal line were presented to the world under false pretenses. And until verified medical records or credible witnesses step forward, the suspicion will only grow louder. Because in the end, Harry and Meghan built their brand on authenticity, truth, and transparency. But what if that truth never existed to begin with?